Welcome everybody to the Rated R Rapport. We've got the Holiday Chris Mace, we've got the Duchess Cindy G, the General Jerry Slaughter. I am the Wizard of No DQ Stephen Osborne. Thank you for joining us, and we've got a little bit of a show planned out here.
We're actually going in with something.
Somehow we always manage to fill out an hour.
Oh, we like sometimes it's dead air, but at the same time it's only maybe like 10 or 20 seconds at a time. That's like.
Yeah, this is bonus content. We just do this when we've got a couple hours, and
we've got 4 days off, so we figure we go ahead and squeeze something out at this point.
So I want to thank you guys for being on, especially Chris at the late moment, filling in for it was going to be Noah.
Yeah, Noah chose G1 Climax, so we're hanging out with us, but that's okay.
Damn you, Noah!
Well, it's still wrestling. So if he was like off playing mini golf or some shit, I'd probably get pissed. You know, because we had already talked to the guy. But since he's actually covering wrestling, it's all good.
Yeah, he's got work to do.
Yeah.
So
it's all good.
Yeah.
We want to start this off with an overview, sort of the last 50 episodes of NXT UK, because you guys have both been on the NXT party with us. Cindy, our very first guest.
Yep.
That's why we wanted to have you on. Our second guest was Owen. He was busy. Noah was busy. Everybody was busy, but we've got Chris, who has probably been on the most episodes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he's done the most episodes of NXT
party. The real MVP right here.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you for that, and we've got, like 10 categories here.
Yeah.
We want to rank some of these sons of bitches in our own opinions. Jerry's got a diagram.
I got a little diagram. I got a little chart. I got a little bar chart set up.
And you can't start one of these without just literally the best and the worst. And we're going to go male and female. So let's start with Cindy with the females. Just seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Who is your best, like your MVP of the females division, and who is your most disappointing, like, based on your expectations going in?
Well, I would say the MVP for the women's division honestly would have to be, of course, Rhea Ripley. I mean, she debuted as a heel. She became the first ever NXT UK women's champion, and she's been nailing it in the whole women's division, like with her brawling anti, her gimmick. Like, man, everything about Rhea Ripley is perfect, especially the fact that she did debut at this year's Royal Rumble. You could tell that, you know, this mosh pit kid, she's really nailing it no matter what, and, you know, she doesn't give zero fucks about anything in particular.
1 second, we're getting food, because we're consummate professionals. Just 1 second.
And let me go ahead and eat my birthday present, and by the way, I'm turning 30 on Monday.
Yes.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Funny. We're both cancers. That's funny because your birthday's on Monday and mine's on July 20th.
Hello, Mr. Delivery Man.
Wow, birthday! I guess I'm in the 30 club with you guys. That makes me happy.
I was going to say, I turned 38 towards the end of August, so pretty much my...
Alright, I'm not the oldest. I thought I was the oldest out of everybody. I'm not.
Nope.
The oldest member of Team ODQ is actually Stone Cold Grandpa, Kyle's grandpa.
Chinese folks.
Yes.
As we are.
Nice.
Consummate
Skittles right here.
Consummate professional.
Center that right there.
All right.
I just got coffee and Pepsi. I'm good to go.
I had pizza earlier, so...
All right. So Cindy went with Ripley.
I'm good.
No surprise there. Cindy went with Ripley. Chris, your pick for... Or actually, you want to go with your most disappointing real quick, Cindy?
Okay. The most disappointing wrestler that I expect her to debut, and I thought she's going to get the push that she needs, but no, she lost every match. My inner circle of friends and I, we were like, what the hell happened to her? She did debut in last year's WWE UK tournament. Look what happened next. And plus, it doesn't give a proper direction if she's a heel or she's a face. I hate to say it. I'm going to have to say Killer Kelly, y'all.
All right,
So-
now Chris, your MVP of the women's division and your most disappointing superstar of the women's division.
Well, my MVP is Ripley. She's been a badass from the first time I saw her. She's impressed me in every way. She's definitely the future of any brand she's on. Whether she stays in NXT UK, she goes to the main roster, she's going to be the MVP. She's one of the best 2 or 3 female heels in the whole company right now. The worst, most disappointing one, I'm sorry, I know people hate I'm going to say it, but Toni Storm to me. I've been disappointed with her title run. I think she is not the best wrestler in the world. She's just not been very good. And her dumbass promos of shiny, shiny. If I hear shiny, shiny one more time, I'm going to go shooty, shooty. I don't want to hear this shit no more. That's the only promo. She's not that good of a wrestler. She hasn't been impressive in her title matches. Ripley, when she had a rematch with Ripley, she was horrible through 80% of the match. Ripley dominated. Ripley should have been easily able to win it, but I know it's all, like I said, it's all predetermined. But for her just to barely win, just hit the Storm Zero and win when she barely had any offense, that's not a champion. I'm sorry. That's not championship material. They need to get that belt off her right away. So my point is she's probably the worst one, the most disappointing one to me, because I expected more out of her than what I've seen so far.
Now, I want to agree with you. I really do.
Yeah.
But for me, as far as expectations, especially from the gimmick, goddamn, I got to go with Isla Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she has a great gimmick for a great look, a natural look. She's got a natural lisp. She could work with it. She could be like this fucking slithery heel, man. Just like just be the fucking snake in the ring and shit. Like, she could be this great heel, but for the majority of the last 50 episodes, you couldn't tell whether she was a heel or a face. Lately, she's been clearly a face. I mean, she's been helping Xia Brooke side against Jenny and Jazzy Gabbard.
Yeah.
But just so much potential and completely unused. I would go with Toni Storm because of all the reasons that Chris said, but she is the champion.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's the only thing.
She's the champ, man. I can't go with her for most disappointing because if I were rooting for her, I wouldn't be disappointed right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if I wasn't bored by her matches, and then I got to agree with everybody on Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
I mean, for all of the same reasons. Jeez. I mean, everybody knows I love Rhea Ripley. I got a ring for Rhea Ripley if I ever meet her. I'll just be like, I know this is sudden. But,
I know this is sudden, but I talk about you every week.
Yeah, you never see my show?
Even the episodes you're not on.
Yeah, Rhea.
Toni Storm's going to be in Canada during SummerSlam weekend.
I can
she's
give a
going to
shit
be
about
at
Toni
that
Storm.
Progress vs. Smash Wrestling show on August 7th.
Even more reason not to go. So, Jerry, you're MVP of the women's division and your most disappointing. I think I know both the answers to this.
Well, I was about to say Ripley naturally because, come on. But my initial pick was going to be Killer Kelly. And agree with Cindy there, but I want to go against the grain a little bit like I normally would. And I'm going to go ahead and change it up a little bit to Xia Brooke's side, actually. Because, like, she's making all these challenges and whatnot, and her matches really haven't been that spectacular. She's trying this whole gimmick thing out, and it's not working. And your dad runs the fucking performance center, more or less. You should actually be getting at least some sort of push from that, or maybe a heel push. But, like, maybe make her, like, a snobby brat character. It's like, do you know who my father is? You know, that kind of thing.
All of that aside, she started off as a enhancement talent. That's the soft way to say it. She was a jobber. And that was what she was for, the first 20 or 25 episodes.
Yeah.
And I really didn't have high expectations for her. It was the same with, what's her name? Candy Floss. She's just enhancement talent.
I was about to say, that's the only thing that was actually affecting it. Killer Kelly across the board has been disappointing.
Yeah.
She hasn't won any matches. She's looked underwhelming. She even looked weak when Jazzy Gabbard first debuted. She just, tuck-tailed and ran. So, But so I guess I'll go ahead and just go with Killer Kelly, because you did bring up some good points about Zaya. It's hard to be disappointed by somebody you don't want to even have any hopes for in the first place.
Yeah, she has started climbing the mountain, and she may not be very far, but at least they're giving her a push.
Yeah.
And
Killer Kelly just got buried from the get-go.
She's paid her dues.
Yeah.
They're trying to give her something and see if the crowd catches on.
Yeah. All right. So, onward and upward to MVP male and biggest disappointment male. So, we're going to go with Chris Mace on this one.
Because you're male.
Oh,
Yes.
definitely the MVP of the UK brand, Devlin. That's my pick for the most
Oh,
impressive.
God, it's going to be another sweep.
Definitely the MVP. They definitely need to bring back the European title for just that man alone, pretty much.
I'm not even sure it's going to be the European
The
belt.
worst one that I'm really disappointed in is Connors. I thought they would do a lot more with Connors, you know. They were doing that gimmick where he liked to fight all the shiny new toys, which I don't know was doing too, but I digress on that one. But Connors looked like he had more of an upside, but they just haven't done anything with him at this point. I feel like if they're going to do something within the stadium at this point, maybe do some kind of storyline where it ends up joining Gallus or something. That way at least it'd be a 4-on-4 versus Imperium at some point and make it an even matchup. That's the only thing I can think of do with Connors at this point.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason. But
That's a pretty logical explanation there. This is a fucking good egg roll.
yeah, they're great when they're hot.
The ones from Double Dragon in here need some, man. Jesus Christ. I think they're the best egg roll they should have.
What about you, Cindy? Duchess of the Skittles.
Let's see. So, the male MVP is going to be an easy answer. It's going to be the Bruiserweight himself. He's done. Longest reigning WWE UK champion for like 2 years straight. Like, holy crap. Representing like the whole British strong style scene in the WWE, like mainly in NXT UK. I mean, shit. He can brawl out with anybody and anything. But the only person he can't, of course, is Walter. And it was like a hardest, to pick which of these two are the MVP. But like I said, it's going to be beat down, hands down. And for the worst, I'm going to have to say, I hate to say it because I feel like he's very, very underrated. I don't feel that he's going to get enough push that he needs. I'm going with Amir Jordan on that.
That's not a bad pick for that one.
No, it isn't.
No. I think
Yeah.
Pete Dunne sounds great as a MVP, but coming into the inception of NXT UK, like, the expectations were already high.
No, it wasn't even high. They were already just there.
Most of his reign had already been completed by that point. So, I mean, I don't think he outshined himself from the very beginning. I think if anything, he's gotten less credible.
I was going to say, he did drop the belt, so.
But I got to agree with Chris. Jordan Devlin has been, because other than the pay-per-view match with Finn Balor and the title match that he had, and probably, or the opportunity for the title match, that four-man, it wasn't an elimination, it was a fatal four-way, yeah.
Fatal four-way.
Because he dominated in the Banks feud, too.
Other than that, he wins.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might have had one loss to Ligero that was, meaningless. But other than that, that's what he's known for, is fucking winning the match. And I don't think I need to say anything more. He is one of two guys that has turned me in his favor.
Yep.
I'm not really like watching him to, in the case of Jordan Devlin, I love to hate him. In the case of Tyler Bate, I hate to love him. But Tyler Bate took so much longer to get me on his side. So I got to go with Jordan Devlin. What about you? Oh, wait. I got to do most disappointing.
Yep.
That's rough. Who did I have high Oh, Eddie Dennis.
Eddie Dennis.
Easily.
Yeah.
Most disappointing. Eddie Dennis, easily. What about you, Jerry?
Devlin all the way for MVP. Like, there hasn't been one match where I've been like, oh shit, it's Jordan Devlin again. You know? Well, I see Devlin show up and I know I'm automatically going to be entertained. It doesn't matter if it's just his 5 moves of doom, more or less, or if it's going to be just, a quick squash match on somebody. Or, hell, even his match, I think he hasn't had one with Mastiff yet, but chances are when he does have one with Mastiff, it's like just one-on-one, it's going to be a terrific match. He's going to find ways of making Mastiff look great. So...
Probably, yeah.
And for my biggest disappointment, he dresses nice. He carries around the coolest looking helmet on the planet. But there's not one match I can honestly say that I'm like, wow, I can't believe that was a great match out of Flash Morgan Webster. I do not like Flash Morgan Webster from the get-go. I was like, oh man, this guy's going to be cool. He's going to be rad. No.
Yeah, your first impression of this guy was him coming out to his entrance, and he's got the suit on, and he's got the fucking helmet, and you're like, this is okay.
This guy's going to be a star. This guy's going to be great. No.
His name's Flash.
Yeah. but with him, also, like, I think it's also the fact that he's being poorly booked. We've established just a couple different, about 1,000 times on the show, that he needs to be a heel. He's got entirely too much cool shit going for him to not be a heel. Even if it means him wrestling the same, at least he'll have a foreign object to use for 1. 2, he'll look credible in doing it. And 3, he's got plenty of people he can go heel against. And if he gets injured or something, he'll be an awesome heel manager. So... But they're not doing that with him. They're just having him lose, and he's just underwhelming for me in the ring. Maybe because like you have your Mark Andrews, and you have your what's the other one? Williams. Kenny Williams. Kenny Williams is even starting to impress me more and more. And but like with Flash Morgan Webster, I just can't get into the guy, and it's disappointing. It really is for me.
What's next?
Let's go with best debut or best debut.
Gotta go with Walter.
Oh, Walter.
Yeah.
I was about to say even if we take away his debut at like on Blackpool, just him showing up and the ominous feel from that, his debut match against Jack Stars was just lovely.
The only one that would compete would be Alexander Wolf.
Yeah. Well,
and it doesn't even compete.
I was about to say with him, it's that he already had built credibility within the WWE at least. Whereas Walter, not really a lot of people knew him except for people that are savvy on the independent scene with like WXW and Evolve.
I mean, how underwhelming was Ilya Dragunov?
Oh, Dragunov is still underwhelming.
I mean, just a match full of every lariat from every direction.
He was up there for a disappointing, but at least he's winning.
Oh, this is true. Yeah. So what's after that? Now that
everybody says Walter for that one.
Yes, I agree.
We're all the worst debut.
Oh, worst debut then. I'm not sure if we could have a worst debut.
I would say Ilya Dragunov.
I would agree with that too.
Dragunov's.
Yep.
Dragunov's debut did kind of suck. He didn't really show him at his full capabilities. He pretty much showed bare minimum.
Well, I mean, we haven't had a lot of out-and-out debuts. Most of the people just kind of showed up in the first several episodes, and then every now and then it's their first match, but not necessarily a debut, where they've been promoted for the last several weeks.
Oh, they hyped Dragunov like mad, and he kind of cooled off right then.
I think the first debut we had was Eddie Dennis, and the hype was great, but the payoff was meh.
Yep.
But definitely Ilya Dragunov, his that first match was just like, who is this guy? And like, Is the only thing entertaining about this guy the fact that he comes out there looking like he's on cocaine? Because everything else is not entertaining at all. His finisher is
all I
just
think about is Rocky IV when I see him.
Oh, you think it's Drago.
Yeah, almost break you.
Who is like the breakout star of NXT UK? Like comes in after the inception. Somebody that comes in with no expectations. Do we have anybody that has just outshined from the pack?
For me, James Drake.
That's a really good one.
I'm about to say James Drake. Like after him and Zach Gibson teamed up, and he finally started actually getting to show more of what he could do in the ring. Because prior to that, fucking good April. Before that, he did a quick promo. And you kind of got a feel for who he was and everything, but it's like when he stopped talking and just let all of his actions speak out in the ring.
Yeah.
He became just a thorough badass. And he's become so entertaining in everything he does in there.
He is really a Wolverine in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I joked about that on a previous episode of NXT UK, but he is definitely a Wolverine in the ring. And I think they should bring that Nick, because there's already a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
But he's a little different. He's not just all kicks.
No.
Even though some of the worst are his drop kicks. That grit your teeth.
Your teeth is just an awesome drop kick. But he broke out that 450, and after that, I've just been sold ever since. Because that 450 was perfect.
You got a breakout star, male or female, Cindy?
Shoot, that's like a hard pick. Well, I can say, like, she did debut in NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool, but as in the audience, I'm going to have to say Kaylee Ray.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she had a pretty good debut match. Hell, she even won the first ever women's Battle Royal for the #1 contendership for the NXT UK title. I could see her being the new champ instead of Toni Storm, you know, and I could see that she's going to be doing quite well for that.
It's actually a damn good pick for breakout.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to agree with Jerry. I'm going to go James Drake. I think he's the breakout star to me. Well, it's like I said, Grizzly Young Veterans is one of my favorite tag teams right now. So I definitely will say James Drake. Just his mannerisms and everything, the little he talks, but boy, just his personality in general is like just impressive. And then, like I said, he's damn good in the ring. So I'm going to say James Drake. And then for women, I might surprise y'all. I'm going to say Jenny. I think Jenny's got a lot of upside and a lot of potential. And I'm really ready for her to see if she can win the NXT UK title. I see her being champion in the future. So I would say Jenny.
You're not even surprising me with that. I'm pretty sure she's going to be champion. Just not sure when she's going to be champion. I think they're going to push more of her, like Jazzy Gabbert for a while Jenny gets healed up from whatever injury she has. But then when she's ready to wrestle again and do more in the ring, I think she'll be a formidable opponent for whoever ends up dropping the belt to Toni Storm. Because I'm not sure if they'll have Jazzy Gabbert eventually turn on Jenny. Because that's usually the thing. The bodyguard or the, whoever will eventually turn on the person that they're actually working for. That's a tale as old as time right there, dating back to fucking Diesel and Shawn Michaels. Or actually Sid Vicious and Shawn Michaels. Sid and Shawn, that was a vicious one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with, I got to go with Kaylee Ray for female because, like, for real, she hasn't lost yet.
Yep.
Even the Battle Royal, she hasn't lost yet.
Nope.
And she's come in fairly late, but she's gotten a super strong push. And maybe I'm just catching her right before the first loss when Toni Storm beats her. But then again, maybe she's about to take the title from Toni Storm. Male-wise,
we can only hope so.
This might sound surprising, but let me back up my answer here. Joe Coffey.
Oh, yep.
Oh, that's a good one too.
my expectations for Joe coming in were solely based on the fact that he and Mark are brothers and were a tag team, former tag team champions, come to find out, because Jerry had gotten his PW Insider top, 500 or whatever it is.
Yep.
That week. But I didn't expect him to go any further than mid-card tag team.
Yeah.
And now, when I see it's a discus clothesline.
Yeah.
Like, Natalia does it, and I don't blink an eye. But fucking Joe Coffey does it, and I'm like, this match is fucking over.
Yep.
This match is fucking over. He just knocked you the fuck out. And especially when he goes for it right-handed, and they're dumb enough to block it, and then he does the double spin and comes back with the left.
He does the exact opposite of what coffee is supposed to do to you.
Yeah, knocks you the fuck out. I'm going to go with Joe. So who are we missing? We're missing a female for you and a male for Cindy.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, for me, I'm going to have to agree with all you. Even at first, I wasn't even too high on him, but he kind of grew on me already, especially being the one half of the NXT UK Tag Team Champ, James Drake.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of grew on me already, seeing how much he improved by himself, especially during the WWE World Collide tournament. Yeah.
You got a female none of us have thought of, Jerry?
I'm thinking right now, because Piper Niven's not impressing me at all.
No.
She's just not.
Nope.
Even with her match, I'm like, she beat Ripley. Whoopty fucking shit. You know? At this point, even then, I could tell that Ripley, like, carried her more or less through that match. So, and that was a daunting task right there.
Yeah. Literally carried her and at one point failed.
So, but yeah, I'm torn because Kaylee Ray is an awesome pick, and so is Jenny. Because Jenny's my girl. I love Jenny the pieces in that ring. Like any variation of surfboard or anything she does, or any kind of submission hold, I am just sold on. But if I had to, like, gun to head, if I had to choose my breakout talent, I would actually have to go with Kaylee Ray. Because Kaylee has just been super impressive in the ring. She's got that slyness to her. She's got this great heel mantra, and she's conveying it perfectly on this show thus far. And I always see big things coming out of her. So yeah,
Giggity.
Kaylee Ray is definitely up there.
All right, what do we got next? Match.
Best match.
Let's just go overall. Overall best match in the last 50 episodes.
Yep.
Which incidentally includes the pay-per-view, because that was episode.
Yeah,
25.
episode. Let me clarify this. NXT UK Takeover Blackpool, number 25. So that counts as an episode. So if you guys want to include that into your selection for best match, whatever match out there you want to, you can. So, who wants to go first?
Why don't we go first?
Oh, why don't I go first? Okay, the crowning of the NXT UK Tag Champs.
Yep.
Mustache Mountain versus the Grizzled Young Veterans.
You know what sucks?
Oh yeah.
We almost got a better match than that the other night until the fucking ending.
Until the ending, yep. After Imperium interrupted. Up until then,
Yeah.
it was actually, but that was like a case of one-upsmanship from that match, which about stole the show, which was pretty impressive. It was the first match on that card. So, and that's why I could really think to talk about at that point, was just like, holy shit, how are they going to follow this up? You know? So, that's my pick for the best match so far in the first 50 episodes.
What about you, Cindy?
Oh shit. After all of these best matches in particular, I would say the one that definitely steals the show would have to be the match for the inaugural NXT Tag Team Champion at TakeOver Blackpool. I mean, that was like by far the best opening match I've seen out of all the takeovers, including like that would be like the number one, and then followed by the ladder match from TakeOver New York. But I digress. But that match itself shows like British strong style / mustache mountain.
Yep.
And the Grizzly Young Vet, how they work well together, especially fighting for that prestige title. And that ending was a complete surprise that I feel that it was like a perfect ending just to surprise everyone. Like, there you go.
Except for this guy. And which he will never stop talking about ever.
I was the only one that believed it.
Like Jericho was the first ever undisputed champion. You'll never hear the end of that. Stefan was the only one that pretty much predicted that Grizzly Young Veterans were going to walk away with the belts. Yep. So, and that's a prediction that we will never ever hear the end of.
Well, if I ever forget, he'll remind me.
Yeah.
Because we'll be doing a video about it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Chris? What's your best match of the last 50 episodes?
Grizzly Young Veterans versus Lorcan, and I'm going to forget his tag team partner's name because I'm going brain dead. I've worked all day.
Oh, Lorcan and Birch versus Grizzly Young Veterans is good too. So yeah.
Well, because that was the only match I gave 5 cups of tea to. That was the only match I have so far. Any of the tea parties, that was the only match. I was damn sure impressed with that match. That's my favorite match so far.
Cool.
I gotta go with Pete Dunne versus Walter 2. Just because of the ending. Oh. And I know it's been recent, but I feel like if everybody's gonna, get down on the floor and suck the nuts of the inaugural NXT UK Tag Team Championship, I might as well go a little different.
Well, you went with the inception of Imperium.
I mean, even he with the tag team champs, I'm just like, there's matches out there that weren't in the ring technically the best match that you've seen in 50 episodes, but that ending. I
was about to say, I actually ranked that as my favorite debut.
Everybody knew that ending was coming for the last 2 months, and I still had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody made sure that they didn't spoil that shit for me. So it means more to me, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I gotta go with that match.
Oh yeah, because we'll go ahead and go with that. I'm gonna go ahead and change my opinion for the best debut to the debut of Imperium. Because the Alexander Wolf reveal at the end was just monumental.
No, technically the debut of Imperium was when Walter got together with Eigner and Bartel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but
technically.
Yeah. Well, either one. That still works.
If you want to combine them, then that's like a tag team finishing move as opposed to a singles finishing move.
Yeah, definitely. So
come on, man. We're talking about one debut.
Okay.
So you still changing it to Imperium?
We'll go with the initial Imperium that I missed that Vigo got to sit in on.
Yeah, when Vigo took your place and didn't talk.
Oh.
Damn, Vigo.
Life calls.
Sexy bastard. you Carpathian, you.
So I think we have one more category to go.
No, we have best match female. If you want to go with that route.
Honestly, I can't think of one.
I have one.
What's that?
Toni Storm versus Rhea Ripley.
It's the only one I could think to put up there, but then I think back on the match and I'm like, I wasn't impressed by that match at all. Either of them.
I was about to say, the NXT UK women's division still needs a little bit of work. They've got enough people in there, but not enough memorable matches at this point. Like, the squash match the other night was actually very, very entertaining with Jazzy Gabbert and that Mercedes chick, that other chick whose name's rhymed.
Here's the problem. Jenny and Rhea Ripley are both heels.
Yeah.
If one of them were a babyface and we could get a match between the two of them, I believe we might have a challenger for best women's match in the last 50 episodes.
Yeah.
However, we do not get that. So, that's why I was just going to leave off. I was just going to say best match, period. Because I don't think it's fair to compare either the inaugural tag team championship match or any of the Pete Dunne versus Walter matches versus anything we've gotten out of the women.
Oh, yeah.
Based on booking.
Well, even then, like, if I were just go singles match for, like, best match, I would have to go Devlin Dunn. Jordan Devlin versus Pete Dunne was just a classic, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, if we can remember one, which I'm pretty sure Chris Mace can, we're going to go ahead and go with worst match.
Yes.
Chris?
Oh, hell yeah. The worst match. I hated this. The ending of this damn match. It was the first NXT party I ever did with y'all, episode 27. And damn it, I hated the ending of that damn match with Devlin and Banks. Fuck that double count out bullshit. I hated the way they ended it. Yes, did they get better matches and we get a great last man standing match? Yes. But fuck, for the first time getting introduced to the product, watching that episode, doing the first tea party with y'all, and that was the main event. Like I said, that ending pissed me off. It's still one of the worst matches that I think, in my opinion, for the NXT UK. That's my opinion on that. I will always still remember that because it was the first tea party I did, and that is engraved in my brain with that match.
Well, if it wasn't for that storyline, we wouldn't have gotten Jordan Devlin versus
Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn Balor 2 episodes prior. So
yeah,
I feel like there's some give and take there because they were planning on, you know, holding that feud out as long as fucking possible in all manners that they could, and putting Finn Balor in place of the Kiwi Buzzsaw was great for
that worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
We got such a great match out of that one.
Now maybe you could still get that match and not have the double count out, but I gotta agree that was. I thought that was going to be the end of the feud.
Yes.
And we could move the fuck on. And not only was it a disappointing ending to the match, I don't know, man. There's some. What about the fucking ending that we had to the tag team championship match between Mustache Mountain and the Grizzled Young Veterans just the other night?
Yeah.
Great match, ruined by the ending. I'm gonna go with that one. So fresh in my brain. Great. That could have been a better match than the inaugural tag team championship match, and it ended up subpar because of that ending. What about you, Cindy?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with Xia Brookside versus Isla Dawn's match. That match is like so sloppy and like Jesus Christ. That match, till this day, cringed the fuck out of me big time. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is Isla Dawn thinking. Like, are you serious? Seriously trying to like be like, oh, are you a heel or are you a baby face? No, it's like, I don't know. This match to me, it's like all in a wrong. So it's like, yeah, this is like a worst match on my book. And I feel that would be one of the worst match for like the NXT UK women's division of all time, in my opinion.
What about you, Jerry? Worst match?
Nothing's really fresh with me. I've seen some stinkers of like main events and whatnot on NXT, but most of the NXT UK matches that we've had have been at least, you know, fair at least. But if I had to choose most disappointing, or at least a match that could have been a lot better than it actually was, I would have to go Eddie Dennis versus Dave Mastiff.
Oh, at the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
What was it? Wasn't a false count anywhere, was it?
Yeah, it was a street fight.
Street fight.
Yeah, it was a street fight. Like, it wasn't that great of a match, and you can tell at this point, like, we can tell now that that's no doubt where Eddie Dennis got himself injured, and from there we lost quite possibly what could have been one of the greatest angles in NXT UK. So, the ripple effect from that alone just reverberates, and now it's one of those things where it's like all this promise that we had for Eddie Dennis is just gone. So, I'm gonna have to go Dennis and Mastiff. But that's what I have so far. Do you have any other idea for that one?
Nope.
Oh, awesome.
I think we are.
We nailed those. Those were great. Those were good picks.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, woo.
Support, no DQ.
So let's talk Bischoff and Heyman.
Yes.
This is the big story over the last few weeks. And we got to sample programming that may or may not have influence by either guy.
Yeah.
Raw seemed to have some Heyman influence.
Oh,
but
definitely.
We are actually told by reports that it may have not have. Some of this may have been in the works prior, and I think possibly all that pyro when Strowman and Bobby Lashley went through the LED wall.
Yeah.
I think that pyro might have been some Heyman.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to do it, let's do it right.
Bang explosions! Bang explosions!
But from all reports, they're really not going to be taking over Raw and SmackDown respectively until after the pay-per-view, because they already had storylines going in and they don't want to fuck with too much.
Yeah.
Plus, it gives them a few weeks to actually come out with long-term plans, as opposed to, this is what we're doing this episode, and then next week we'll plan next episode kind of shit. So I'm looking forward to it. You've got criticism that this is just, two old names from the Attitude Era, and we're going to go back to just the same shit that they used to do. And I'm like, I would think in the last 15, 20 years, they might have a few new ideas.
Oh, yeah. Especially Heyman. Some of Heyman's best work he ever did was when he was doing the head booking for SmackDown. And then shortly after that, he got, we'll go ahead and say, demoted to OVW, and at that point he started working with CM Punk, he started working with Beth Phoenix, he started working with Crime Time at that point. He started building up all these great characters, these great guys that ended up coming up in there, and now we have Beth Phoenix, like Hall of Fame wrestler now. We have CM Punk, who's still considered by some like one of the greatest wrestlers in the world.
He's the only person to ever, I believe, shut down NoDQ.com with traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm excited to see what Heyman does. I really am. Bischoff that has this whole controversy, his cash thing, and since they're going to be on Fox with SmackDown, I can actually see him getting away with. Try to get his way with as much as humanly possible that he can on a network television. So I'm excited to actually see where that goes. It doesn't even matter at this point because it all still has to go through Vince.
I don't think so. I think this is setting up because Vince McMahon is about to be way too busy with the XFL. He has a decision to make. He had to leave power to somebody in creative decision making so that he doesn't always have to be there. And who is he going to pick? He's got his kids and his daughter's husband.
Yep.
And Triple H is proven in NXT to at least get some crowd.
You the man!
Mm-hmm.
But would he pick somebody that's untested in his idea of wrestling, or is he gonna pick the people that actually gave him a run for his money?
Yeah.
The people that challenged him to be better. I think that's a brilliant idea.
It's classic and wonderful. I'm loving it, but at the same time, that was my main issue with that, is the fact that in the long run, Vince could be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, here's the problem with Stephanie or Shane or Triple H running the company. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They have their jobs have no stake in the outcome of their performance.
Yeah.
Heyman and Bischoff, very much so.
Yeah.
If they don't, I can assure you, if they don't turn around Raw and SmackDown's ratings and do something substantial with them in the next year or two, they won't be running the show anymore. But Triple H and Stephanie McMahon would still be running the show. So long as Vince is preoccupied with the XFL, they'd be there doing the business.
Cindy, what's your take on it?
Well, I did state it on my Instagram story / Facebook story about how do I feel about, Heyman and Bischoff being the executive director. Like, honestly, I'm having, mixed feelings about that for the fact that we're getting both sides, like one of them who used to run ECW, another person who used to run WCW, both went out of business, but then again you have Paul Heyman, who's doing a wonderful job, with the whole creative aspect on SmackDown Live from years ago, and then going on forward to being the manager. With Bischoff, a lot of controversy came in mind, what happened when he used to be in Impact Wrestling, formerly known as TNA. It went into complete shit. Now, like, I know that we're in the era of, like, the whole rebooting, nostalgic factors for it. I mean, at this point, seeing, like, the clips I saw on Monday Night Raw, which I don't watch the full show like I used to, but I don't care about it anymore. It's all about YouTube clips, and yes, I'm taking my glasses off for you, simple man. But...
But
seeing like how Heyman did the concept with the whole like Braun Strowman versus Lashley's opening match, it was not bad, but it doesn't even impress me as much as it can be, because I know that like we were coming up after AEW did their show Fyter Fest, and it's like, okay, what's gonna happen next? And it sucks to see. It's like Raw this week was kind of like a little bit of a better show than SmackDown this week, and I know that both Bischoff and Heyman are going to be taking full, directed approach once Extreme Rules, is done next week. But I don't know. I'm kind of, very, very skeptical of what's going to be happening in a long-term run, especially with Eric Bischoff being the executive director for SmackDown Live, since, they're going to be moving to Fox in October. That's going to be setting a huge pressure for him. And I don't know. I mean, I feel it's going to be little too late for that. All it matters for that, but all I can say is that will it be a competition for other companies? Probably not, but at this point it's probably gonna be this whole Raw versus SmackDown bullshit again. That's the early build up for Survivor Series in November. But yeah, I digress on that.
What about SummerSlam in August?
We're about SummerSlam in August.
That too, but it's gonna be all wildcard bullshit. We'll see some rematches from fucking Extreme Rules for all it matters. I mean, hell, I really don't want to see Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin how many times now, or Becky versus Lacey Evans. Even though I do admire both women, but
that's only gonna happen if Corbin and Evans win the match. Otherwise, it's over. And I imagine it's going to be over and we get something new for SummerSlam. Because I'm spending a lot of money to go up to Toronto and see that live. So please.
Be assertive when decisive action is needed.
Chris.
Yeah, and you can't go because I hate my job altogether. So it's staying.
Chris, who do you think is going to do better here? Do you think Bischoff is going to do better with SmackDown over on Fox? Or is Heyman going to do better with Raw? With the 3 hours and all the extra stars and shit like that, and then again you got the wild card rules.
Yeah, that's the other thing right there.
Yeah, which is this idea.
I think Bischoff's going to do better, and here's why I'm going to say this.
Why?
Bischoff has the experience from many years. He has, like Paul Heyman does. Bischoff has also admitted before with his podcast 83 Weeks Later that I listen to every week. He has admitted, watching back on a lot of stuff, the mistakes he made, what he could have done differently now, and everything like that, if he could have been able to change a lot of what happened, how he booked stuff in WCW and everything like that. I think from a business aspect is good because he's had that business practice for having to deal with company executives, stuff like that. He's going to have to probably deal with the Fox network as well with everything like that. So that's good as well. He can handle that business side. I think he's going to bring something different to the table. I think he's learned from a lot of the mistakes he made from past with WCW. I think he's got a fresh outlook on everything and a new perspective on everything. And I think he's going to try to do things differently and come up with new ideas as well. I think Bischoff would be a better fit for SmackDown, and I'm hoping, which I said this on 205 Live Matters, I'm hoping since 205 Live is recorded as live after SmackDown, that if it stays going that way, that he has his input on the Cruiserweight division, because that is one of the few things he was successful with, is bringing up the Cruiserweight division in the first place. And I think that would be a big help as well if he's there, since he's already there running SmackDown and 205 Live after SmackDown, why not put his input in? He did a great job with the Cruiserweight division back years ago in WCW. I think that would be a great help with that as well. I think Bischoff's better fit.
I saw that. I don't get to say this very often, but I actually sat down and watched yours and Noah's show a little while ago, and that's one of those moments that I actually was agreeing upon was the fact that, yeah, like with Nitro and Thunder, you saw the cruiserweight being an integral part of the show to the point where he knew exactly where to place the matches to keep the show moving, keep it viable, but then gave him a good spotlight and you didn't really pull on their reins too much. You let them do a lot of the shit that they need to be doing to entertain the fans.
I think the biggest problem that held back both Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman is now outside of their hands.
Yeah.
And that is doing the business in the back. What held back Eric Bischoff was that he was so willing to sign these contracts to get these guys that he lost a lot of his creative freedom to do with the wrestlers what he wanted. You know, you've got guys like Hulk Hogan that can refuse things.
Yeah, and Goldberg.
And Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, guys that can refuse to do things because their contracts allow them to do so. That gives them creative freedom over their own character. He no longer has that problem.
No.
He no longer has the problem of requiring huge pay salaries to big name stars in order to get them to come to his product. Everybody wants to come to his product.
Yeah.
So, no big deal. The only ones that aren't going to come are the ones that weren't going to come in the first place, like Kenny Omega. They didn't stand a chance.
No. Pretty much anybody that's not already signed with the company is going to be, I think, satisfied or at least getting used at this point within this new Bischoff and Heyman regime.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Heyman had full, as far as I know, full control over his product. It was his product.
Yeah.
He probably gave, some freedom to the wrestlers because, he was a good guy about it. But for the most part, it was his product. His problem was the money.
Yeah.
His problem was the money, and he could never have enough money to keep the product going in the direction that he wanted to. And in this case, he no longer has to worry about that.
That's the thing I saw the other day. I was watching the Heyman DVD, and he said what ended up happening with ECW was something that a lot of promoters they want to happen, but at the same time, nothing could be done about it. His product became too big for the money that he was making. He basically couldn't keep up with t-shirt demands at that point. He couldn't keep up with the venues. He couldn't keep up with anything at that point because the TV deals weren't there. They kept on falling through. And then pretty much the nail in the coffin was Raw moving to TNN and then turning into Spike TV naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much what killed ECW at that point was the fact they lost that TV deal. Because at that point they were at kind of an apex, dude. They had Rhino, they had Tajiri, they had Just Incredible.
Well, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
WWE has been on Raw has been on USA for its entirety, except for one brief period for 3 to 5 years or something like that, when it was
5 years.
the new TNN, which became Spike TV after Spike Lee dropped the lawsuit, and it was for one reason: to kill ECW.
Yeah.
They moved channels for several years for one reason. I don't care that it was supposedly becoming a new channel and it was the men's channel or the first channel for men, which it had a lot of good shows on it. Thousand Ways to Die.
Thousand Ways to Die was
Oh my
a great
god.
show.
What an awesome show. Check that shit out.
Yeah.
Seriously, check that shit out, and you can find it on YouTube when you get done watching this. So, but still, he put ECW out of business and then went back to USA.
Yeah.
But that was Heyman's problem, was money.
Yep.
He no longer has to worry about that. And so you put one on SmackDown, one on Raw. They're actually going to be on different channels. They won't be on the same nights, but you can compete. And I hope they get rid of the wild card rule, but even still, these guys can use the wild card rule to invite and pluck guys from the other guys' shows to help their own ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a thing if you do it right.
They could always go with my drafting idea.
I agree with Chris Mace. I think Bischoff is going to be more successful.
Yeah.
Bischoff is the only one of the two of them that ever threatened to put WWF out of business.
I think what's going to end up happening, and it's already showing shades of it right now, is a whole bunch of 205 Live guys are probably going to be bigger parts of at least SmackDown, and maybe the 205 Live product will even become better.
Especially if Fox demands a 3-hour program.
Yes. And that's going to be huge for them. But I see what's going to happen with Raw is Paul Heyman's going to treat NXT kind of like an OVW, because if Paul Heyman gets off on anything in professional wrestling, it's creating new stars. He likes the idea of taking somebody that people wouldn't really see as a potential star and turning him into something much bigger than what anybody believed they could be.
You think that's why the Street Profits were on Raw this week?
Yes.
Heyman's like, okay, I don't know what you're doing with these guys down in NXT, sir, but I'm going to bring them up to Raw and start something fresh.
Yes, pretty much. It's pretty much like he sees like what may have failed probably with Crime Time. He's seeing what he can do with Street Profits on Raw instead. And with that, you have look at his past record. He took some more or less jobber from WWE, Scotty Flamingo, Johnny Polo, and he turned him into fucking Raven. Okay, one of the biggest like hardcore wrestlers on the planet. He turned Aldo Montoya, the Portuguese Man of War, into Just Incredible. He turned the pretty boy that was teaming with Chris Jericho on Southern Independence, a Canadian at that, into Lance Storm, like this champion of all champions for everything in Canada. He takes these stars, he takes what makes them great, he exemplifies it, he puts it on display, and makes them even better. CM Punk, Big Show, God, Brock Lesnar even. Brock Lesnar was already a beast coming out of OVW. But he turned him into like this super beast in one night on Raw.
So what do these guys got to do to improve the ratings?
Oh, to improve? Oh, with Bischoff, he's got to basically book the. It's pretty much just the booking is what's going on wrong with these shows. The fact we're seeing the same matches over and over again. I think the fact that they have much deeper rosters and have much bigger playground to play with just the wrestlers that they have in their respective shows, that they're going to be able to do a lot with what they have.
Cindy, what do you think they can do to improve the ratings?
I mean, they better improve just having like some of the storyline can be having like a beginning, middle, and end. That's what Aaron Wood brought it up during the No DQ live stream Q&A question, which I want to say thank you, Chris Mace, for bringing up the question to Aaron. And I couldn't agree more with his answer. Like, that's the only thing that needs to like improve. Like, make sure to have like a concrete storyline to have these 3 parts, but also making some of the matches having like an unpredictable finish.
Yeah.
For that as well. And that's gonna help to tune into like everybody that is like more of like into wrestling. But then we don't want to see like as much of the story that's needed, where it's like more promos, less wrestling, more promos, less wrestling, and all this bull crap that we have to deal with. Example, Monday Night Raw for like how many months now? But that has to improve it big time just to get the casual fan tune in again.
What about you, Chris? What do you think they can do to improve the ratings?
I think both shows need to be different. I think both shows need to have something different for everybody. I think if you do something, you have Paul Heyman with his experience, you take it as a more edgier product. You do stuff differently. You cut out some of those promos. I'm tired of seeing so many promos. Half the promos are on half the show on Raw is promos. Cut some of that stuff out. Let's have the wrestling do the talking. That's what this company is, a wrestling company. Yes, it's entertainment. Yes, there's parts of the show that are entertaining to some degree. But however, you can have the right mixture of wrestling and entertainment and good storytelling. One thing that Paul Heyman on one of his shoot interviews and Eric Bischoff have both said, If you do a story, you need to have a blank piece of paper and you need to know where your ending's going to be. This is where I want to get to. Now tell a story how you get there. And that's what they need a lot more of, is telling the story from start to finish with each program they do, and make it feel important and make it feel significant on Raw. That's what they need to do with Raw. SmackDown with Eric Bischoff, I can see him taking kind of the same approach, but like I also said, he has the advantage because he has 205 Live stars to work with as well. So he can go old school and take that 205 Live division with all those great cruiserweights and incorporate it more into SmackDown and do the success that WCW did when they had variety of matches. You had different, you didn't have the same old stuff. You didn't have the holla holla holla. Let's do a 6-man tag all the time. We didn't have we don't need all that anymore. We need something different. You can go old school approaches. They can take their ideas they did in the 90s and incorporate them into 2019 and make them work and be successful. With, like I said, with Bischoff, he can thrive using that cruiserweight division to help elevate a show, get a hot start to the show, make it more entertaining, make it have a hot open to start off the show, get fans invested into the show, like, oh my God, I want to know what's going on next. That's what I want to see. I want to see what's going to happen next. That was a great match, or that was great storytelling, or, oh man, I'm excited about what's going to happen next. You got to get people excited and engaged in the product, period, for them to be successful. And they have to do it at a consistent basis. Yes, you can go up in the ratings just a tiny bit and be like, oh my God, we went up in the ratings just a tiny bit. But if you're not consistently doing ratings and consistently trying to improve by getting the ratings up, even if it's by the slightest margin, as long as you're improving every week, that's how you know you're going to be successful. And that's what they need to do. They need to gradually build those ratings up, engage people, and get them excited about wrestling and the product in general again.
Now, the problem here is that they can get a bump in the ratings based off of little things. Like this past week, it was Heyman. The announcement had come out that Heyman was going to have a hand in Raw. People wanted to see what that meant. And they might have been a little bit disappointed because, as I said, reports say that he didn't have a lot to do with Raw now. He won't until after the pay-per-view. So maybe the Raw and SmackDown after the pay-per-view are going to get a bump. But the thing about the ratings is, like you said, if you don't get a few more every week, it means nothing. And the reason that they don't get more and more every week is that people don't have a reason to watch from episode to episode. They don't end one episode of Raw or one episode of SmackDown giving you a reason to watch next week. Back in the day, WCW didn't have to leave the show on a cliffhanger because people were going to watch next week because you never knew what to expect. And in the days of the NWO, you never knew who to expect to show up on the next week's Nitro. We don't have that anymore. You can't just keep building onto a roster because you don't have an endless pocketbook from Ted Turner. So you have to give people a reason to watch the next week, and cliffhangers are the easy way to do it, and they've done it before, but they don't do it on a consistent basis. There are weeks where you watch Raw and you're like, not only do I have no reason to tune in next week, but I have no reason to tune into the pay-per-view either.
Nope.
And that's where they used to make their money, was the pay-per-view. And it's all a matter of anticipation. If I can't anticipate watching the next show, then other people aren't either. And you're going to lose ratings. And if you have stuff happen every week that is unexpected, and you have cliffhangers that give you a storyline reason to finish off something, to watch the next week to see how it ends or how it progresses, that's how you get the numbers up. And they are not able to do that because every time they have a surprise, they fucking give it away early.
Yep.
They had, what, 6 NXT superstars that were going to get moved up and incorporated over the next... At that point, it ended up being a couple of months. But still, you could have done that shit as a surprise. Pepper that shit out, maybe one a week, and you never know who's going to show up the next week.
I was about to say, Street Profits did that this past Monday.
But they just fucking jizzed all over the screen with one shot of everybody that's going to... And it's like, that may help you next week, but it's not going to help the week after.
Ew.
Agreed.
Yeah, they just shot their load right there, all of them. So...
Who do we actually hope that these two actually push more than anybody else at this point? Like, who do you see Bischoff actually championing at this point to become almost like the leader of the locker room for his brand?
I don't know about the leader of the locker room, but somebody needs to do something amazing with Lars Sullivan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They are losing out on a big opportunity with Lars Sullivan. But other than that, I really have no idea.
Since he beat the Lucha House Party?
I don't think he has.
On that episode of Raw, he might be
I don't think
injured.
he's been on TV since he beat the Lucha House Party. Boy, that really helped Lucha House Party. That really built credibility for 205 Live. Thanks, because, he hadn't done shit with Lars Sullivan since then.
Who needs the next big push, Cindy?
I'm saying Buddy Murphy, like, shit. Like, ever since, like, he got drafted to SmackDown, we haven't seen him on TV because of the fucking bullshit wildcard rule. I want to see Buddy Murphy chasing for, like, a mid-card title, like the IC title, but I don't know what's going to happen. Bischoff better figure out at some point. I mean...
Buddy Murphy versus Finn Balor would be awesome.
Oh, that would be a great feud.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris? Who needs the next big push?
Honestly, right this moment, I think Samoa Joe. I think they've given up too many opportunities with him. He could be one of the most dominant heavyweight champions they could have on that brand, and he can make a lot of people look good.
Support, no DQ.
All right, Jerry. So, who deserves the next big push?
All right, before I even get into that, Kevin Owens, if he's going to be face right now, they need to go ahead and bring back Sami Zayn as El Generico. That place is gonna pop so huge if Olay just starts playing on the intercom for Kevin Owens saying, Sami Zayn's my best friend. Sami Zayn's not here to be my tag partner, but I found a replacement. And then all of a sudden, Olay starts playing. Place would go ape shit. Even if people don't even know who El Generico is, they're like, what the hell is going on? Why is there a pasty dude in the lucha mask and a cape coming down to the ring? Why is he shaped like Sami Zayn? But I think push-wise, somebody has really needed it. That keeps on getting lumped into stupid categories and just being shoved around, and for a long time was underutilized. Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is like one of those ones that, like, I'm glad she's finally starting to do something a little bit more with Alexa Bliss, but the fact that she's not hanging out in some boiler room right now going ape shit pisses me off to no end. Because some of her best work that I've ever seen her do was like the last run in NXT with her knowing what was going on between Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black, the whole I know thing. That was just great television. Yeah. Her matches with Bianca Belair were always on point. She even made Mia Yim look good at that point, which was very difficult to do because she was, even though she was established in Impact and everything, she was very green. In the way of the WWE, I guess, style of wrestling, as you call it, in NXT. So, she showed her the ropes on that, and after that, she just disappeared. She cooled off. And when she was brought back, they really didn't know what to do with her. It's been disappointing. But now she'll be in the hands of Heyman. Heyman will know what to do. So, I'm hoping Nikki Cross will get a huge push out of that. Over on, I guess you say, SmackDown side, that and I want to see Bray Wyatt actually be on both brands. I want to see Bray Wyatt on SmackDown, but I want to see The Fiend on Raw. I think that would just be an awesome concept. I even brought it up on one of my things on Armbar a little while ago, how Bray Wyatt could actually challenge The Fiend using the wild card rule for the Intercontinental belt that he would win off of Finn Balor. It'll be the first animated Funhouse match ever.
Lord.
But I think the funniest moment they could actually have in that would have, like, all of a sudden R-Truth pop up from behind, like with the 24/7 belt. It's kind of run out of the Funhouse, distracting Bray Wyatt.
The champ.
I think he'll be champion again somewhere down the line. I think that'd be really interesting if he just popped up in an animated cartoon and just ran out of the funhouse, distracting Bray Wyatt just long enough that the Fiend got the roll up and the pin and
It's too
retained.
much for me. It's too much for me.
I know it's too much for you, but just the absurdity of it would be pretty great, I
No,
think.
the absurdity of it would be absolutely fucking absurd.
And the problem is, we could see him actually doing that. That's the scary
Yeah,
thing.
the fact that Jerry's prediction for that would come true and Stephanie would be like, Jesus Christ, no.
It'd be
Thank
like,
God for
Jesus Christ,
NXT and
stop
NXT
recommending
UK,
things.
because if I ever have to stop watching Raw, that would be it. So let's have a brief main event here, and I want to put some background into this, but basically everybody gets one pick here.
Okay.
So we have AEW, and now they have all of the tools to be successful. They have a weekly show that's going to start on TNT, a big channel. Like, that is big. To go on to the only other channel that is still around that used to air wrestling is big.
Yeah.
And they've got a successful very first pay-per-view that sells out in ridiculous speed. The second pay-per-view, I think, sold out in ridiculous speed. And they've got all the momentum in the world to be successful. Now, right before their first pay-per-view, you had somebody, well, not right before, probably months before, you had somebody big make a decision to get on board. And that was Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next? Now that AEW looks like it's going to be a success, who is the next? And I don't mean just somebody. I don't mean fucking Perfect 10 or nothing like that. I mean, who's the next big name that leaves WWE and heads for AEW?
Ooh. Alright, that's going to be a tough one.
I'll go first. I say Samoa Joe. If they don't do anything, they don't keep building him up and do anything with him and help him let him be that heavyweight champion to elevate people, he just needs to let his contract expire and he can finish out his career in AEW. I think he could do to have the same effect in helping AEW build up the younger stars with his experience and his, like I said, he's still at the top of his game. He could easily help build that company up. I think he's a big enough name to help him with that.
That's plausible. What about you, Cindy?
So hard because some of those WWE superstars are renewing contract, and it's like you guys are pulling double-edged sword to it. But I know one tag team in mind that they did not renew their contract, and that's going to be the Revival. I could see that possibly happening, like heading to AEW, especially with the fact that, like, with the whole FTR situation with different meetings. I mean, why not? At this point, like, honestly, I'd rather have someone fresh faced from the indies than, like, a bigger name in WWE coming into AEW, because, like, with AEW, it's all about, like, setting the example of, like, showcasing these talents. I mean, I'm an indie girl by heart, you know, so I'd rather see someone fresh faced than someone coming who used to be a WWE superstar.
Well, what about another company? Would you like to see?
Yeah, somebody from Impact, somebody from
New Japan.
New Japan.
You want to see Will Ospreay show up in AEW?
Oh,
Doubt it. He's a New Japan guy.
Yeah, and he just signed a
Doubt
new
it.
contract.
But for, like, impact-wise, for women, Scarlett Bordeaux.
Yes,
and
they just
hopefully,
let her go.
I want to
Scarlett.
see Killer Cross. Hell, do AEW for all that matters. See if he'll do a wonderful job. And I heard his match. Killer Cross did a match with Jon Moxley at the G1 special in Dallas. I
Yeah.
heard their match is pretty brutal.
Well, I think we're on the verge of seeing Sasha Banks do this.
Yeah.
You see anybody else, Jerry?
How about Tessa Blanchard? I'm sorry to interrupt, but what about Tessa Blanchard, AEW? She's been very successful with Impact and everywhere she's gone. Why not
Including
Tessa
NXT?
Blanchard as a woman?
I think with Tessa Blanchard right now, she's so big in Impact that she's one of the very few things that they really have going for them.
Yeah, they'd be dumb to lose
Yeah.
her.
They would be extremely stupid to lose her at this point, especially her feud with Sami Callihan she's got right now. That thing is fire. But
That both of them.
That kind of parlays into what I was gonna say. Is I couldn't just see one person going over to AEW. I see like 4. I see a faction heading over to AEW. I see OVE heading to heading over to AEW at some point. Especially with Mox being there right now. I see them trying to go over there and, like they expect Jon Moxley just to be on board with whatever the fuck they're doing. And sure enough, Blood Feud starts with them. So
I could see, if we're talking multiple, I could see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Oh, Kevin Owens definitely. Oh my God, big friends with Well, I was about to say I don't see him messing up with Adam Cole, but if they don't give Adam Cole the push that he thinks he deserves, I can see him going over there as well. Because of his ties with the Young Bucks, because of his ties with New Japan, Ring of Honor, wherever else, he'd be a good fit.
Okay. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the Rated R Rapport.
Mm-hmm.
A very great one, I think.
Yeah, really long.
Yeah.
Where can we find you on social media, Chris?
I was about to say, well, nobody can follow me right now until I get out of Facebook jail, so we'll worry about that later. Hopefully in about a couple weeks I can start saying where everybody can follow me at again and get my real page back. But in the meantime, pretty much support Noah and 205 Live Matters because it does matter. Also, you can follow the Facebook page he just created for 205 Live Matters as well. I know me and Cindy are admins on there. Support everybody because everybody here, we all take time out of our days to talk wrestling, have fun with it. We be serious, have fun with it, joke around with it, debate about it all we want. Like I said, it's all in good fun. So like I said, just support everything, and pretty much all I got to say today about it.
Where can we find you, Cindy?
NoDQ.com/Cindy. That's going to take you directly to my Twitter page, but I'm mostly active on Instagram at simply_C_OK, where I posted photo arts of like landscape, nature, buildings of like different places I've gone to, different cities, hopefully one day different states, and I've been to different countries before, just one country, and the rest like years ago. And also wrestling as well, especially Instagram story highlights of past wrestling shows I got from WWE to different independent wrestling and all that stuff. And also, I am one of the admins for a Facebook group called AEW Nation, so make sure to follow where you guys can get all the news and information regarding AEW and different AEW topics as well. And yeah, that's it.
Big group. 8,000 plus.
8,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's
8.5K.
Oh,
wow. Keeps
that's
growing faster and faster.
Yeah, we're probably
that's
going to
a
hit
lot of
9
fucking people.
If Jerry didn't delete people off of Armbar every fucking day.
I'd be at least up to 150 at this point.
Yeah.
I've gotten rid of like half the people.
Well, thank you guys for being on the show. And if you would like to be on a future episode of the Rated R Rapport, you can find me on nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. That'll take you to my Twitter page. Or if you just want to find me on Twitter, it's at Stephan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter.
At NoDQ General, and also my Facebook group Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR, exclamation point.
Everybody at different times.
It's cool. Like, it works. Like Chris Willis, he's got so much soul when he says it. I'm glad we added him to NXT. He's been a treat so far.
Yeah, so find us on Armbar, not on Facebook, because we won't add you on Facebook, but we'll get you in the group, and you can share all the same memes anyway.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at osborne.stefan, and please subscribe to Aftermatch. We are on our way to 100 subscribers, and I think we're at 89 now. You can see where we're at. It's probably down there somewhere.
Yeah.
And click that share button. Share us on Facebook or Twitter, please. And hopefully that'll help us get our subscribers up. At 100, we're going to start doing What's NXT? That's our NXT review show live on nodq.com. At 1,000, we'll start doing it live on Aftermatch, but that is the new requirement, 1,000.
1,000 people.
Yeah, we went live with just
1,000
a dozen before, but now you need 1,000.
1,000 people that want to sit and watch us talk is kind of scary.
Yeah, kind of scary, but
Kind of.
we welcome it.
Yeah.
So if you like our video, click the like button that's underneath me. And again, if you like all our videos, click that subscribe button. Help us get to 100. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got the Holiday Chris Mace, the Duchess of No DQ, 1/3 of the Ladies of No DQ, Cindy G, the General Jerry Slaughter. I am the Rated R reviewer, Stephen Osborne, and thank you for joining us.
Cheers, y'all.
Have a good night, y'all.